had classes at night for adults, and I taught adult cooking and baking for about 8 or 9 years back then. And, but I want to start with telling you a few things about baking. Always have your ingredients out and ready, and make sure, say, well, I don't have this, I'm going to use that. And you know it doesn't work. Make sure you have all of your ingredients ready. Make sure you have your butter, your eggs, everything out, because when you start to make most cakes, you need softened butter. And another thing about baking, it's an exact science. You need to have baking powder, baking soda, the eggs, the sugar, the flour has to be the right amount. So all of those are important things. Also, just last week, I changed out my baking powder and baking soda. That's another thing you need to keep track of. Now, mine was good to the end of the year, but I threw it out because I started it last November when holiday baking started. So I threw mine out and got new. And then when fall comes again, holiday baking, I'll throw it out and get new baking powder and baking soda. And always use shiny baking pans, like cookie sheets. You know, those ugly, dull ones, they were just going to make burnt cookies, dark cookies. Also, I do not grease my cookie sheets. I'm just a big fan of parchment paper. I love parchment paper. It is the very best. You do not have to grease anything. Just cut your parchment paper to fit your either round cake pan or whatever. Now, if I'm going to use a round cake pan, I put the shortening and the flour in the bottom, and then I cut my parchment paper to fit. Then I grease that again. That's only for some special cakes that I made. This is a homemade cake in front of you. This is like a devil's food buttermilk chocolate cake. Now, over here, I made some little quickie cakes so I can show you. I've already split them. So I can show you how to make, and I'm going to tell you what this quick filling is. My grandchildren and everyone always loves it. Start with showing you how to make buttercream frosting. And it's very easy. In this bowl is 1 cup of real butter. And ladies and men, always use real butter when you're baking. It's very important. You will not get the same result if you use margarine. You will not. And a 1/2 cup of Crisco in here. And then I'm going to add 4 cups of confectioner's sugar, about a big splash of vanilla, like a large teaspoon of vanilla, and then about 5 or 6 tablespoons of milk. So you can just see, first I'm going to mix these 2 shortenings together. And this will only take a minute. Now, I want to tell you one thing. Since it's cold in here, the butter is quite solid, but it is mixing up real well with the Crisco. And I'm going to show you what it looks like in 1 minute. And on baking things. All right, you see? Now you can see? It's mixed up real nice. And it's cold, so it's not going to fly out of here. So I've already pre-measured my confectioner's sugar. Here's 4 cups. I have recipes written out there if you know, anyone wants to see them. So I'm just going to pour it all in at one time. And then, there, put it in my basket. Right now, while I took that off the heat, I'm going to add my butter in so it can sit. And then I'm going to ask, maybe Doris will bring her chair over here, and she can whip this after it's sat for a little while. See if I can get it cold and, you know, whipped up or not. And then a splash of vanilla. Another thing about vanilla, always use real vanilla. It's important. You get such a better flavor. Okay, now we're going to go back over here, and I have my milk. And I'm just going to add about 5 tablespoons right now.
Now, is that whole milk?
This is whole milk. Thank you, Mark. Always use whole milk when you're baking. You know, you're not going to get the same effect if you're going to use that skim stuff. Well, there's not much to it. That's 3, 4, 5, and that's 6. I may need a little more because the butter is so solid. Now, throw in a little bit of vanilla over here, like that. Doesn't have to be exact. I only measure exact when it comes to like baking soda, baking powder, and of course salt, because you don't want to overdo it with salt. And then I just start it. Now look how beautiful that is, ladies.
Oh, wow.
Look how beautiful that is. If anyone wants to come up and see it, if you make a savory like quiche, you do not put the sugar in it. And it's got salt. And 5 cups of flour. This makes 4 large crusts. So I have some gloves here. I've never used gloves to mix up pie crust, but I'm going to try it.
Self-rising
We
or
trust you.
all-purpose?
It's all purpose. Oh, I want to talk to you about flour. You'll see over there, I'll turn that around, or you can turn that around for me. I only use unbleached flour. For one reason, it doesn't go through that process with the chemicals. And I like that brand, and another brand that's really great is King Arthur. King Arthur flour is very good, but you'll see it might be $4 or whatever, something like that. And you know what? I don't listen to what people say. I just throw everything in a bowl like that, and just get your hands in there and mix it up. And again, the butter is cold because the room is cold. Now, normally I would like it to be soft. Mark, will you put the milk in for me, please? There's a cup of milk right there. And again, that's whole milk. Just pour it all in. There we go. And I'll just mix it up a little bit. And when I get this mixed up, I roll it into one ball, and I divide it in half, and then I divide it in half again. So it makes, 4 nice sized crusts.
So can you freeze the raw crust?
Yes, I freeze it all the time. I'm glad you brought it up. I divide it into a ball, and I put it in wax paper first, then I put it into foil, then I put it into zip bags. And I put it in the freezer. As a matter of fact, when I get ready for the holidays, and like Thanksgiving especially, I do everything like 2 weeks ahead with all the pie crust. I have all the pie crust done. So this is coming together. Look at this, coming together. Even with using gloves, which I've never done. But when I get it together, I'm going to have Mark put some parchment paper down, and we'll put flour on that. And I'll just show you how easy this is to roll out.
Do you have a recipe for that, Mickey?
Yes, it's right here.
Good.
And let me see if there's any other little tidbits. Oh, when you're baking and you have a 2-layer cake, remember, on the bottom, you put the top side down. Put the top side down. Now, it depends on what you're going to do with your cake. Now, I put the top side down also on this one because I wanted to drizzle ganache on the top. And I wanted it to have a certain look. But you can put it right side up, like if I'm making a coconut cake or something. Yeah. But there's so many little tips. Let me see if I have anything else. This page. And are there any questions yet on what we've done? It's coming together. It's just that it's a bunch when you have 5 cups of flour.
That's good to know about the top side down.
Yes, yes. And, I have, Mark, show them the skewers right there. Okay, see that skewer? That's a heavy one. When I'm making a big 3 or 4 layer cake, I use that type of skewer. Then I have small ones that I use for 2 layers. And you'll see that works out real easy. You won't have to worry about your cake sliding around on the frosting.
Do you do it by hand, or do you ever use the blender?
I always use it by hand. But see, this is 5 cups of flour. And see, if I were using my regular one at home with 2 cups, it would have been done. But see, it's almost done. Look how beautiful it is, see?
So you don't need like a heavy-duty KitchenAid mixer
I
to do
do have
that?
one that's down in the cabinet.
Yes, you do, in case of emergencies.
Is that what we do it for?
Vicki, I've read about putting a little icing on the bottom of your...
Yes, I do. I
Does
put
that
icing
work?
on the bottom of my plate, especially like when I made my children's wedding cakes. On those big forms, I put icing on the bottom and then stuck the cake to it and then went from there. We're almost done here. We just have a little bit. Mark, do you want to bring me some parchment paper right here and just lay it down? Just roll a big piece out. Yeah. Just roll a big piece out, and I'm going to show you what I do with this. That's good. And anybody that wants to come up and touch the pie crust or see how it feels. Okay. Oh, flour. And put a little bit of flour, just a small amount, and I'm just going to rub it here. You can just put it here.
Mark, I think 2TV's calling you.
He's doing a good job.
Jada has nothing to worry about.
There we go. I'm going to send this back here.
Check will be in the mail.
Okay.
Check will be in the mail.
Horace, will you whip my stuff over there, please?
Will it do what?
Yeah, somebody whip that. Okay, here we are. We're in the ball. And like I said, you see how much it made, okay? Here we go. All right, cut it in half. See how beautiful it is? And now cut it in half again. There you go. And cut it in half again, and then all you have to do is roll it in a ball. Does anyone want to come up and take a piece of this and feel it and know that when you're making it at home how it is and see how beautiful that is? And then we're going to roll, I'm going to show you how to roll out pie crust, and then I brought two. I think if you rotate, you won't get stuck. A lot of people say, well, it's stuck to this or it's stuck to that. Again, parchment paper with a little bit of flour. And then there you go, back and forth, back and forth. Yeah. And go in all directions. And it won't hurt a thing. And with this one, now you wouldn't be able to do it with the one I made that's solid Crisco because it's not as easy. But with this one, it's the butter. And like I say again, always use real butter. And you can roll this out quite, thin. When you put your pie crust in, make sure you bring it down far enough because people have a problem with shrinking and your pie crust will be way down. So make sure that you have ample crust in the bottom. You can even, go around the sides. It will not hurt it, not one bit. And what I do, this is what my mom did, she just went around the side. And then don't forget, when you take pie crust that you're not using, split it and cut it in squares and put butter and cinnamon and sugar on them and, put them in the oven after you bake your pies. But I just go around and sort of, judge how much I have left. Now, of course, I would only do this if I have a single pie. If I were making a double pie, it wouldn't be cut into a... All right, next we're going to go and see about the ganache. Well, it's not like it should be, but we're going to go on like it is. So you can get the gist of the story. I make the real thing. Last night, I made these from a mix. The one that says it's the butter mix, okay? All right, I've already split them. See, it's already split. All right, this is a real quick filling. Let's see, I got it. Oh, here it is. Ah. This is instant vanilla pudding that I don't put as much milk. If it says 2 cups, I put 1.5 cups. Then I put either whipped cream or Cool Whip, and I put Cool Whip in this one. I need a paper towel. Oh, here they are. Here they are.
You mix it in with the vanilla pudding?
Yeah, make the vanilla pudding first and let it sit, that it's thickened up, and then put like 2 big spoonfuls of either whipped cream or Cool Whip. And you will not believe what you get. Okay, this almost looks like my real pastry cream. It does. But I'm going to show you what to do with it, and everybody can come and cut it and have some. And then what I do is I put this in and smooth it all around and put the top. I pour ganache over it. My daughter-in-law just had a birthday on the 9th, and I got one of my huge pans out. She adores my real Boston cream pie. So I made her a humongous one and decorated it and everything. So, because they argue over it if there's not enough to go around. Okie doke, so here we go. Put this on top. And then put the ganache sort of in the middle. There you go. And then it'll go all over. See, it is starting to get some, let's see. And then it'll just go all the way down the sides. And take it to the sides and it'll run down like that. But I do want everyone to taste this that wants to taste it. It really is.
We'll wait till you do the last piece,
Yeah.
we can eat that too.
Oh, last night I put some buttercream frosting in between this when I made it because I had some in the freezer, I got it out. And the thing about it, you can freeze buttercream frosting real easy. And I make a lot most times because I have 3 small grandchildren. And at any time I need to make cupcakes or something like that. There we go. And then all you have to do is just let it fall all around the outside. And you know what? It's getting right now. You can see it's starting to do right. Just what could we do with a real working stove back then? This is a small tip. This one's small. I wanted you to see. This is real big, like the kinds I used when I made my children's wedding cakes. I used that size because the cakes were so huge. But what I do is I put, normally I would have a spoon and I would put it down in there. But like I say, when you have a pastry bag, put it over a tall glass and it's amazing how easy it is. Isn't this beautiful buttercream? Did everyone get to taste it that wanted to?
Yeah.
Well, you can come up, like I said, cut the cakes. You can cut the devil's food one. But I put the devil's food one together last night so I wouldn't have to mess with it here. And then look, shake it down. See, it's already going down. And then squeeze it, and squeeze it until something comes out, and then the air will come out. See, there you go, like that. Okay, I'm going to show you on one of these cakes. Okay, just stand it upright like that. Look, and there you go, like that. See? And this is kind of soft. It's going to make this soft, but I just wanted you to get the general idea. That's a shell. They call those shell borders. And you can curl them around, you know, all kinds of different ways. But, you know, in any which pattern you like. But I usually like to do those just like that, and I do a long tail on them. Does anyone want to try that? Is anyone interested in that?
I want to try.
You want to try it? Come on.